where the truth is usually stranger than fiction. The purpose of these shows are not to scare you, but to prepare you, because what you don't know could hurt you. The word says in Hosea 4:6, "My people are destroyed for the lack of knowledge." Thank you for joining us. My name is Julie, and here is the host of the show, Barry Meyer.
Today on End Time Talk Radio, we have another great show. We have Lindsey Williams. Now, his website is lindseywilliams.net. You definitely want to go over there and check out other shows that he's doing. Now, if some of you haven't found out, but Lindsey had really got sick, and on my website I had posted up there that to be praying for him. Well, he's down in Mexico, and we'll be talking with a doctor, Dr. Rodriguez, that's helped him overcome some things, and we'll be talking about the things that he's done. And anyways, Lindsey is doing mightily much better. And so we're just going to have Lindsey just kind of talk and just share what he's been doing and how he's been healthy and made healthy. Lindsey, welcome to End Time Talk Radio.
Barry, thank you so very much for allowing Dr. Rodriguez and me to be with you on your show this afternoon. We feel honored. And yes, you're right. The month of January, I was so sick I thought I was going to die and afraid I wouldn't. That's just how sick I was. I called Dr. Rodriguez in Tijuana, Mexico. He is the founder and director of the International Biocare Hospital and Health Center. And I said, Doctor, I need help. Mm-hmm. And so as a result, I came here, and Dr. Rodriguez is actually on the line now. I need to stress to everyone out there in the listening audience, Dr. Rodriguez is internationally known. He lectures all over the world. A man of great brilliance in all the diseases that are facing us today. Cancer, degenerative diseases, chronic fatigue syndrome, heart disease, multiple sclerosis, hepatitis C. All of these things can be treated, but not treated necessarily in the United States of America. Mm-hmm. There are many things that cannot be done in our country. And I felt such a necessity for people to realize what they're facing with Obamacare coming in 2014 and the doctors that are opting out of the medical profession. People need to know where to go to find help if they need it. So, Dr. Rodriguez, welcome to End Time Talk Radio today, and you go right ahead and kind of introduce yourself, if you will.
Sure, I'll be very happy to. Well, I'm Dr. Rodriguez. I'm the medical director of International Biocare. International Biocare Hospital and Health Center is a place that was created with the philosophy that in order to achieve health, you have to be obedient of the rules that govern our lives. And those are who we are, how we function, what we eat, the air we breathe, the water we drink, our spiritual life. Everything makes up to create a wonderful thing that's each one of us and each one of our lives, and how we can keep healthy through years and years, and how we can get to be tens of years and be healthy and function and work and enjoy and have a wonderful life. But when our health breaks down, the first place you have to look at is inward. Mm-hmm. We have to think that a lot of the things that are happening today in our lives, in terms of disease, are not really anymore the type of thing that came from the outside. We're not threatened anymore by a lot of infections, or at least some of those catastrophic infections like tuberculosis or pneumonia. It is our own body that breaks down. Mm-hmm. Degenerative disease is actually the cause of 7 out of every 10 deaths in America right now. Cancer and heart disease are at the top, but many others are there. And those many others also are the leading cause of disability. We have diabetes, we have high blood pressure, we have vascular problems, we have strokes, we have all these things, and I mean, not to mention arthritis that everybody has a problem with, and some of these diseases are growing in frequency. I mean, to really the ranks of an 100% epidemic.
Sure.
Like diabetes and high blood pressure. I mean, if you turn around and talk to people around you, you're going to see how many people have this problem. And all these problems are coming from within. It's within our power to change everything if we start the program where we're going to be working intensively. And that's what we do at the hospital. We are not going to put you on a supplementation program for months. We're going to put you in the hospital, and we're going to start cleaning everything out immediately. We're going to be doing enemas, detoxifying, chelation to remove toxic metals, dioxychlor to kill opportunistic infections that are now so frequent, like Epstein-Barr virus, which is the major cause of chronic fatigue syndrome. And work on the immune system to get that immune system working again. The immune system is the police force in our body that's going to do all the surveillance. It's going to be chasing the bad guys. It's going to be destroying the cells that are going to create a cancer or something like that. And they're going to be helping us all along. But if for any reason our immune system goes down, if for any reason our system breaks down, then we start getting all these diseases that are, first of all, disabling us, and then killing us. That's the end result.
Wow. Most people that are kind of wondering what's going on here, because we look at the United States in hospitals, people go there to get healed, but I'm hearing so often now there's diseases that are cropping up, different infections. When a person goes down to Mexico, how is it that they can do so much better? Because we're taught that, you go to a hospital here in the United States and go in, you're supposed to get healed, but we're not seeing that as much anymore because people are actually seem like they're being thrown out early and fast. How can a person contact you for more information to get down to where your guys are at?
Lindsey, to know the numbers.
Yes, I would urge you, please. You have a pencil and paper. Please jot down this number. You may need it right now, but you definitely are going to need it at some point in your life, and it is toll-free, even though I am talking with you from about 5 miles inside the Mexican border. This number is a toll-free number, will not cost you anything when you call, and please give them a call. Get their beautiful 60-page booklet, multicolor, explains the hospital, all of the different items that they use for treating patients down here that you can't, many of them you cannot get in the United States of America. So if you have a pencil and paper, please jot down the number toll-free, 1-800-701-7345, or if you wish to go on the web, you can find out a lot of information about it, and you go to www.biocarehospital.com. That's BIOCARE hospital, HOSPITAL.com, or toll free 1-800-701-7345. Barry, let me explain how I came to know about this, because you know the individual that I'm going to talk about. You've heard me on your show many times tell you about my elite friend, a gentleman retired from Atlantic Richfield, who a little over 20 years ago, he was diagnosed with lung and liver cancer. Now, many oil companies get this because they come in contact with so many toxic substances in the oil field and around the chemicals. They breathe them, and you'd be amazed how many people in the oil industry die of cancer. Well, he was diagnosed by the hospitals in Washington State, and of course, finances was no problem. This man is well up in Atlantic Richfield, and he was diagnosed with lung and liver cancer, and they said it is so advanced, so there's nothing we can do for you. Go home, write your will, and just live the rest of your time the best you can, because it's too far gone. He wasn't satisfied with that. Now, everyone out in the listening audience, you've heard many times about my story. I won't go back through that tonight. But the elite, they know where to go to get help. You may not know, and the doctors in America probably aren't going to tell you, and they definitely can't do these things in America that many of them that are done here. But he went abroad, and he went and took what is known as an Alevizartos treatment, which the only place on the face of the earth that it's given today is right here at the International BioCare Hospital and Health Center in Tijuana, Mexico. Over 20 years ago, this elite friend of mine went abroad, took the treatment, took 21 days, and he came back to Washington State. They re-examined him at the hospital, the same doctors that had given him the diagnosis before, and they said, we can't believe this. They said, we haven't seen this before.
Mm-hmm.
He said, what did you do? He said, here's what I did, here's where I went, here's what I took. And they said, you don't have any cancer. It's all gone. Now, that was over 20 years ago. He has had no reoccurrence. He has come back to this very healthcare center right here and gotten boosters a few times over the years, I think. And now, keep in mind what happened to this man. This is one of the elite. They know where to go for help. And as a result, he today is in his 70s, retired from Atlantic Richfield, flies his own airplane in his 70s, and is in perfect health. You don't have to suffer from these diseases, cancer, degenerative diseases, chronic fatigue syndrome. And that's what they found out I had when I got here. And they say it can be taken care of. You know what the doctor said to me when I came here?
What's that?
They diagnosed my problem, and they said, Lindsey, there is not a single doctor in the United States of America anywhere that could have taken care of what you have. Isn't that amazing in a country that's supposed to have one of the finest healthcare facilities in the world? But I had to go outside of America in order to get help. Multiple sclerosis, heart problems, allergies, hepatitis C. All of these things can be taken care of using natural methods. And I felt so, what should I say? I expressed it to Dr. Rodriguez this way this afternoon. I said, Doctor, I feel so morally obligated to tell the people in the world not only what's happening in government, in the oil field, and what's happening to our dollar, and so on. I said, I feel a moral obligation to tell people where they can go to find health care, because you can't get it in the United States of America in many, many instances. And so that's the reason that I called you the other day, Barry, and I said, I'd love to be able to tell people where they can find help. So, Dr. Rodriguez, give an idea, if you will, of the Alevizartos treatment. I understand that you also want to use on me something very unusual. You're actually going to draw my blood one day, and they're going to process it in such amount, not animal blood now, not some fetus somewhere, but my own blood, Lindsey Williams' own blood, and they enhance the stem cells.
Oh, wow.
Folks, this is amazing. They actually take my blood out. They will put it through a process, and Dr. Rodriguez can explain it to you, enhance my stem cells, and then put it back in my body, and it is working miracles. Dr. Rodriguez, kind of give us an idea of how some of this works.
Okay, I'll be very happy to. Well, the Alevizartos program is something that Dr. Alevizartos, it really bears his name, he's a Greek doctor, or was a Greek doctor. He passed away. And before he passed away, he was very interested in keeping his program going. And he was contacted and worked for many years with the family in Washington State that Pastor Williams knows well and has talked to them. And they promised him that they would keep this therapy alive and useful for other people. And it's actually just a very natural thing. When you really look at it in detail, is a number of nutritional factors. Some of them are amino acids or peptides, vitamins, and some particular derivatives of vitamin B complex in particular that have the ability to increase the blood flow to the body, increase oxygenation to the body, which is something that we are lacking of. If you look at our lifestyles, we move less and less every day. We park at the entrance of wherever we're going. We do not walk. We do not move. We go through the drive-through window every time we can. So we're really keeping our bodies deprived from oxygen, because oxygenation comes from movement. When we walk, when we move, when we do things, there's movement everywhere. There's movement in our digestive system. There's movement in our heart, in our brain. There's oxygen flowing. There is blood flowing. Life is in the blood.
Yes.
Anything that doesn't get enough blood flow or enough oxygen is going to deteriorate, is going to degenerate. So these sort of combinations can do this. You can feel it. I have taken the treatment myself, and it takes just a few minutes after the beginning of the drip for you to feel the rush of blood. You can see yourself blushing, and there's a little bit of itchiness and feelings all over the body that tell you that everything is opening. You're getting blood flow into your system. So this has been a therapy that has been amazingly good for the management of cancers, in particularly certain kind of cancers like kidney cancer, brain cancers, for example. Brain cancers are almost inaccessible to many forms of therapy because there is something called the blood-brain barrier. What is this? This is an electrical mechanism that the blood vessels of the brain have, and they don't let everything that is in the blood supply to get into the brain. They block a lot of substances. However, the Alivisados program, all these substances go through this barrier very successfully, and it's not a wonder that one of the treatments or one of the cancers where Alivisados has some of the best results is in brain cancers. So because of all these possibilities. Now, on the other hand, what Pastor Williams is mentioning about the cells, this is something that you all have heard about, stem cell therapy. What are stem cells? Stem cells are original cells that can transform themselves into every tissue. They can transform themselves into a kidney cell or a heart cell or a skin cell, anything, any kind of cell. And in the beginning, we were thinking that the only possibility to get these cells was from early stages of development, like from a fetus or an embryo, from umbilical cords, from that type of thing. But as research continued, we were able to see two very important things. One, which is very important, is that all through our lives, we continue to make stem cells. What happens is, like in everything else in life, they tend to be less active, or they can be reduced in number. And what we have to do then, when we harvest them, is to collect them, to concentrate them, and to give them something that will excite them and will make them very active. That's what we do. But the big advantage is that we're going to get the cells from the same individual that we are going to treat. Now, said this, you can imagine how many barriers just completely fall down. I mean, you don't have any ethical concerns about if you're using an embryonic cell, but at the same time, you don't have any safety concerns, because not only is morally questionable to use these cells, but it is also medically questionable because you don't know who that embryo is and where the cells are coming from and what diseases it might bear or what problems it might bear. So when you take your own cells, you're working with your very own genetic load. You're working with your own blood. There is no way you're going to transfer any disease from you to you. There is no way you're going to reject your own cells. There is no way, you don't have to match your cells to see if they're compatible with you. Everything falls down, and it makes it very simple, very easy to do it. It makes it a completely harmless procedure. However, the results are great. We're getting more and more results. We're very excited about the possibilities of stem cells. They kickstart a lot of functions in the body. They help the immune system to get active again. They help your brain. They help your energy. I mean, people, let's say about my age group, I'm 69 years old.
Okay.
I have treated several people that basically are healthy. I'm, as far as I know, healthy, thank God. But you know, you feel not as you felt before. Energy goes down. You're not as energetic, and some of these things happen. So I decided to do the treatment and do the detoxification and the enemas and the whole thing. I mean, a little bit of my own medicine.
Mm-hmm.
And I was pretty amazed on how I felt. And I got united with a couple of friends in Chicago that already had the same treatment. And we were talking about all the difference it made in our lives, how we were more energetic, we could have a clearer thought, we had a much better memory. So everything fell into place as we felt, let's say, 10 years ago. And that is really a magnificent result. But when you have a health issue, these are the cells that are going to replace the old cells. These are the cells that are going to make the magic of healing and are going to help you to get a lot of functions going. So we're very excited about the results, and I know that in the case of Pastor Williams being basically a very healthy individual, and it never stops. If anything, you have to ask him to calm down instead of to do something. I know we're going to have excellent results with him, and it's going to boost his immune system, because one of the problems that he might have are all the symptoms of chronic fatigue.
You know, one of the things, Dr. Rodriguez, that people may be wondering, our Medicare is expensive. What would it cost for somebody to go down there and get well?
Okay, normally we work all these programs in-house. In other words, the person comes in here, checks in, and stays with us 24/7.
Okay.
Why? Because it's going to wake up to an enema. We're going to be working in cleansing. We're going to be doing chelation. We're going to be doing treatments to wipe out. We of course, make diagnosis for opportunistic infections, and then we get rid of them. We build up the intestinal flora. We nourish the patient both by mouth, of course, like with an excellent diet. Our kitchen is 3 times the size of our pharmacy. Also intravenous. I mean, it would be foolish not to take advantage of the medical capacities to get our programs going in the shortest period of time and with the best success possible. So all these sort of a program, and it's going to run about $5,000 a week. Mm-hmm. Normally, a patient with a health condition like chronic fatigue, like multiple sclerosis, like heart disease, is going to be staying around 2 weeks. So that would be $10,000. Cancer patients normally stay 3 weeks' time, and of course they might have other issues that we normally explore even before the patient checks in. We request medical records, we review the thing. Now, the good side of it is that people that have private insurance, in over 80% of the cases are going to be reimbursed by the insurance companies.
Oh, wow.
All of a sudden, I would say probably about 10 years ago, we've been doing this since 1976. And in this particular hospital that we purposely built to be able to do what we want with people and do the diet and the enemas and the type of food that we want and the type of services that we want, we've been since 1985. So we have been many years. And I remember originally insurance companies didn't even want to talk to us. Now they not only talk to us, but they're very open and they've been very helpful. And again, probably 80% of the people that have private insurance will have their money reimbursed. Now, If you call the 800 number or if you go to the website, you can request information about insurance coverage. And they will make an insurance inquiry and will check what insurance you have, and they will pretty much tell you what is your insurance going to do if you decided to come this way.
Barry, this is such an amazing place.
Yes, it is.
I'm actually sitting here right now in one of the living quarters. They have quarters for, now, you don't have to stay in the hospital except under certain circumstances. They have a beautiful hospital. But for, say, a family member and the person who's coming here, they can stay in an apartment right on the complex. Don't be concerned about it being Mexico. Mm-hmm. You're perfectly safe here. It's only 5 miles approximately within the border. If you come as a family, they actually have a house that you can rent and have all of your privacy. If you want a very nice place, they even have suites that's a little more expensive, but they are gorgeous and as comfortable as any home you'd find in the country. I want to tell you about the operating room here.
Okay.
And I have to brag a little bit. This is so amazing. You know, in America, there are bugs going around now in hospital rooms that are scary. People are contracting disease that they didn't have when they went in. And there's nothing can be done about it because the disinfectants that they have for hospitals now, they're new bugs that have mutated and it won't touch them. The hospital here at International BioCare Hospital and Health Center has had never, ever had a record of anyone being operated in their beautiful, as nice as you'd find in America hospital. They've never had a person that had a record of contracting something in the course of the operation that they did not have when they went in for the operation. Never, ever, so I understand. It is one of the cleanest. It is an amazing place. And I urge people in America, there are so many treatments that can be given here that are not allowed. They're illegal in America, but they work, and they can help you. And once Obamacare comes in next year, you aren't going to get medical help in America. I'm warning you. You must learn to be your own doctor. You must learn to take care of your health before January of 2014. Now, some of you have heard me speak. I don't know, maybe I've given it on your program, Barry. I don't know, but I will now just briefly.
Okay. There's
a very prominent physician in the Midwest called Dr. David Janda. I beg of you, please, after the program tonight, will you please go on YouTube? You've got to see this. Dr. David Janda is so famous and so recognized in America as an American physician in the Midwest that Congress asked him to speak before Congress recently about the healthcare system and tell them what he thinks about it. You've got to see his presentation on YouTube. Type in, if you will, David Janda, Janda, and when you see it, you are going to be amazed. He said to me the other day, he said, Lindsey, when Obamacare comes in, he said, according to my surveys, I feel that approximately 40% of the healthcare professionals in America are quitting the profession.
Wow.
I mean, this is startling. I am getting names of doctors every few days who are quitting. They've closed their offices. Dr. Paul Holman in Lyle, Washington, he received the first papers about Obamacare from the government a few weeks ago. He has already closed down his medical practice, and he has been a very prominent doctor for over 20 years. Dr. David Janda, whom I just mentioned to you, that's on YouTube, he has already sold his office building. He owned his own office building. That's how well his practice has done him. And he sold his office building. He has already set a date that he is quitting as a doctor, and he's been a doctor for well over 20 years. I could go on and on and on with doctors that are opting out. If you are going to get medical help for certain things, you must know where to go. And there is help for you. You don't have to suffer from these things. Now, please, write it down one more time, even though you may not have cancer right now or chronic fatigue syndrome. I didn't think I did either a few months ago. I've been so healthy all these years. But these bugs are vicious. And when you get one, you need to know where to go. Now, please call and ask them for their beautiful brochure and explanation of everything that can be done for you, many things that cannot be done in America, and you give it to your friend. Next time a friend says, I've got cancer or I've got heart problems, tell them, why don't you give these people a call? Have it on hand in your file so that you can use it when you need it. It's a toll-free number. Please jot it down if you will. That toll-free number for the International BioCare Hospital and Health Center is 1-800-701-7345. And if you wish to go on the web, you can go to www.biocarehospital.com, BIOCARE hospital.com, or 800-701-7345. You need to know where you can find help when you need it. And after January 1, 2014, it's going to be life or death in many, many instances as to whether you know how to get service or not, because it is going to be critical with Obamacare. So, Barry, maybe you have another question of Dr. Rodriguez, and we can go from here.
I do. The question I have is, what is it? What do you mean or call it BioCare?
Well, I think it describes number one what we believe in, and what we do.
Okay.
We're at the bottom of our philosophy is the fact that we have a wonderful body, an excellent quality machine that does a lot of things for us, day in and day out. It moves. We can see, we can think, we can love, we can function, we can run, we can work. There's so many things, and they are so wonderful. But we live with them for the whole life, and then we kind of take it for granted. We really believe that this health and this body was meant to last forever, without any care, without any responsibility. But the more I see what all these diseases that I was mentioning that are coming upon us, the more I see of them, the more I see that these diseases didn't have to happen. It was a matter of disobedience. It was a matter of lack of attention to what we should be doing with our body. It's lack of care. And we call it biocare because of the biological context. Because what we want to do is we want to work with the body of our patients in a way that we restore, we bring back a lot of the biological resources of that person, but we just don't believe that you can take them and put them in as the pharmaceutical philosophy is. The pharmaceutical philosophy is you have an illness, I'll give you a chemical that's going to destroy the illness and bingo, you're healthy. No, you have to work for it. You have to let healing happen from within. You have to provide the body with good nutrition, with good air, with sunlight, with exercise, with movement, with good things that you bring to your life, because you have to honor your body. You have to honor all these systems in order for the body to keep on functioning well and keep you healthy. If we fail to do that, as we're doing as we speak, then you're going to run into problems. And people are eating on their cars and having a soda pop and French fries full of bad fat and taking a lot of sugar. And now they have these so-called energy drinks filled with God knows what. And then we buy food in a box and we stick it in a microwave, and we never stop to drink water. People are drinking pop all day.
Yes.
We don't drink enough water, and let alone that we don't actually drink water. We drink a lot of things. And then we get a lot of toxics, I mean, even voluntarily. Because I understand that electromagnetic radiation is a fact, that chemicals being added to our food supply is a fact. all those things are true, but we also pay to intoxicate our body. We get all these huge amounts of alcohol. We smoke. We still allow cigarette smoking, even though the evidence that it's going to be very damaging is there. So in one word, when a patient comes here, we look at the patient as what this person is. It's a living organism where we have to start putting everything together around that person in order to help them to restore, to reconstruct, to heal, in one word. So we change the diet. We use the medical advantage that we have of using the intravenous route to feed, to cleanse, like with chelation therapy, to remove toxics that have accumulated over the years in the body that are damaging the immunity, that are damaging the way we function, and giving things like vitamin D. I mean, vitamin D, if you tested everyone, we all know that right now most of us are really low. And vitamin D has been connected to diabetes, has been connected to multiple sclerosis, has been connected to diabetes, to all these epidemics. And we don't have vitamin D because we hardly get ourselves under the sun. We think we do, but we don't. We go outside early in the morning, jump in a car, drive to a covered garage, get to an office, and we think we're getting sun because there is a big window. No, you're not, because glass blocks the useful ultraviolet radiation to make vitamin D.
Oh, wow.
And then at the end of the day, it's already dark. And what we're seeing is a tremendous lack of vitamin D, also very much associated with high blood pressure. And high blood pressure is endemic. I mean, anyone listening to us tonight, I'm sure knows 1 or 2 or 3 people with high blood pressure.
Dr. Rodriguez, I'm on your Facebook page right now. I'm actually looking at the BioCare Hospital Medical Center. My wife is a nurse, and she would be very interested in what you're talking about. My question also I want to ask is, do you have like online learning, or do you have a place that people can actually learn about these different things to kind of get them self-educated?
Well, let me tell you, we don't have such a thing, but something that I always encourage people, as Pastor Williams was saying, you got our email address, use it. Go to either Facebook or go to the website, and you can send me an email. I promise, because I do it all the time. I answer all my emails every single day. And if anybody sends me an email with any question, any medical question or any health question, I always answer. Always. I don't ask you anything. I don't ask you, certainly not for money, nothing, no strings attached, because I love to talk to people that want to learn more, because the more we know, the healthier we're going to be. I don't like to see sick people. I love people that get concerned about taking care of themselves. And I can recommend reading, I can recommend things, and I always tell people, you're going to get tired of sending me emails before I get tired of answering them. So I would encourage anyone out there that's listening tonight, if you have a medical health issue or question, put it on the email, and feel free to share that email with anyone you happen to think that will need that advice.
Wow. Now you're located in Tijuana, Mexico.
Yes.
Okay.
In Tijuana, Mexico, we are, as Pastor Williams was saying, like 5 miles from the border. We are about 30 miles from San Diego, California's airport. So most of our patients normally would fly to San Diego, California. We meet you at the airport. We'll help you with your luggage, with everything, and bring you to the hospital.
Wow, that's pretty neat that you guys go all out to help people. That's really amazing.
Well, I can testify, Barry, as to the convenience, the personal care that Dr. Rodriguez has just mentioned. It is amazing. They have numerous medical doctors on staff here. Now, Dr. Rodriguez is the director of the hospital and an amazing gentleman. They have many doctors on staff. The hospital nurses around the clock and doctors 24 hours a day, they will give you personalized, tender, loving care. It's amazing. You know, when I got sick, and I'm just not accustomed to being sick back in the States, I went to a doctor. I remember one doctor in particular. I went and I told him, I said, "Doctor, I'd like you to examine me. I'd like you to give me some help." He said, "Okay." The lady at the desk, and the nurse took me back into the room. I waited probably 15 minutes on the doctor. When he finally came in the room, instead of talking to me about my condition, he talked to me about my book and DVDs for 15, 20 minutes. And then he said, "Well, here's another doctor that I need to refer you to. Why don't you stop by the front desk?" And when I got to the front desk, they wanted to check for $200. I mean, that is so... I literally wanted to run from the American system. Here, if you need help, the doctor will sit down with you 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 45 minutes. If he needs to, he will stay there and explain a test and a chart to you. You're going to find personalized care that you never get in the United States of America. The nurses, they are so kind. You can't imagine how gentle and taking care of you they are. In a beautiful hospital that is as clean as any you'd find in America. And don't be worried about Mexico. Being this close to San Diego, you do not have a problem, some of those problems that you're hearing about from the drug lords and all of that. I have seen none of that since I have been here. So, Dr. Rodriguez, go ahead, if you will, with anything you'd like to say about the hospital person. I just wanted to attest to the fact that these things are true. And I'm sitting here right now in one of the private quarters at the, out from the hospital, where you can be, if you wish, if they feel that you can be that sort of a patient, or you can be in the hospital itself, Dr. Rodriguez.
Yeah, well, that's what we do. I mean, we do biocare. That's the reason of the name, and we like to educate people. I like people asking questions, and sometimes could be what you think is a silly question. I could tell you, for example, that the other day I got an email from a lady that she says, "You know what? I'm having radiation for breast cancer. Can I still dye my hair?" I mean, who's going to answer a question like that? Nobody.
Yeah.
And the doctors don't have the time to pay attention to those things. But how important can be for these women? And somebody has to be compassionate enough to say, "Oh, sure, let me tell, what are you doing, blah, blah, blah," and help you. Yes, absolutely. And that's what we're here for, to talk to people, to help people, to educate people. And actually, when our patients are here, we feed them well. We try to show them a different relationship to food, which is something that I always talking about. Our relationship to food has been completely transformed in the last few years. By few years, I would say in the last 50 years. But the way your mother and your grandmother ate has nothing to do with the type of foods that we consume today, and let alone the fact that they contain hormones and antibiotics and fertilizers and so on, tons of chemicals that are fed to our systems, not to mention the last threat with biological or genetically modified foods. So we have to learn all these care so we know where to go. Now, with the hospital, the big advantage is that we take advantage of medical technology. So I can use intensive intravenous hyperalimentation. I can put all the elements I want in your body that I feel are missing today. I don't have to wait. I'm going to be checking your intestinal tract. So many diseases come from that area. And nothing is going to come back unless we restore all that good function. And people listening to us tonight, many of them will be constipated or bloated or having cramps or having acid reflux. I mean, the symptoms that we live with in terms of the intestinal tract are overwhelming, and there are very many. And they're telling us something. We have to listen to our bodies. And certainly one thing, as a good friend of mine said, the older we get, the more talkative our bodies get. So we have to even open more the ears and listen to our body to make sure that we are not get with any deadly disease or any catastrophic disease. But it's within our reach to help our bodies. And many people, and that would be my ideal, that would really be my ideal practice of seeing people like Pastor Williams that doesn't have a huge degenerative problem or anything like that. He jogs, he works, he moves around, he is endlessly working, and yet he wants to keep on doing things. He wants to keep on helping his body, and that would be my ideal type of practice, where people go to boost their system, to boost their immunity, to make sure they're healthy, and to make sure they continue to do what God meant us to do.
Barry, you know by the number of times that I've been on your show that for 37 years, since I lived with the elite of the world, I have tried my best to tell people everything I've learned from these elite that they need to know. And when my elite friend told me, he said, Lindsey, you've got to go there. He said, if you want to get help and you want to get well, he said, that's where you need to go. They know where to go. The elite know how to get well. And I felt such an urgency to ask Dr. Rodriguez if I could actually, right here from the hospital while I'm here, do some radio shows. And that's the reason I gave you a call, Barry, because I wanted you to know I was told where to come. I'm trying my best to help you now, as I've always tried for these 37 years. I'm trying to help you so that you can know what to do. Now, in preparation for this, I beg of you, those of you who have not gotten my latest DVD series, you'll remember that just after the election, I was utterly flabbergasted. So many business friends of mine that have their own businesses came and said, Chaplain, what, do we close our businesses? What is going to happen for the next 4 years now that we've got this new president? And they were scared to death. And I actually contacted my elite friend, and I said, what is going to happen for the next 4 years? What he gave me was startling. He said, there are going to be, and he contacted me over a number of days with emails. He said, 10 agendas will be faced by the American people. That's you, everyone out there in the listening audience tonight. 10 agendas will be faced by the American people over the next 4 years' time. Now, all of them don't happen at once. There may be one this year, another one next year. And you must know what you're going to face in America, and one of them is health care. It is so very important. You remember Mr. Fromm, before he passed away about a year and a half ago, my elite friend, senior executive with Atlantic Richfield, he said to me one day on the phone, he said, Chaplain Williams, this is not a health care bill. And I asked him, I said, what is it? He said, it is the total control factor of the American people and the American system. What I'm trying to say is, please, I beg of you, know the issues. When you know the issues, you can do something about it. For those of you who have not gotten my latest DVD presentation, it's 3 hours and 50 minutes entitled The Next 4 Years, and everything that I was told is you're going to face, it's going to happen in America, that they have planned behind closed doors. But when I finished producing that 3 hour and 29-minute presentation, I couldn't give it to the public. Remember, I was a pastor for 12 years, and I have a heart for people. I could not stop. I went to a number of people, one of them being a Wall Street insider, and I said, the only way that I can give this to people, what I've heard, is if we can give them solutions. We, the three of us, 2 financial professionals and myself, and I'm not a financial professional, but just what they tell me, the elite tell me, and I said, let's go in studio. We did a 2 hour and 29-minute presentation of nothing but solutions. If you were a millionaire, what would the solution to these agendas that are in store for Americans over the next 4 years? If you were a middle-class person, if you were a bum, or I'm sorry, they don't call them bums anymore. Yeah. If you were a person, please, we'll forgive that word. I didn't mean that at all. If you are a person on the street and you need help, I said, we've got to tell them. We did. We produced a DVD series entitled How to Survive the Next 4 Years. It came up with 6 hours and approximately 30 minutes of everything that you'll need to know about what is planned for you by the New World Order for the next 4 years' time. Please jot down our toll-free number. Now, this is for our DVD series. The number is toll-free, 24 hours a day, 888-799-6111, or you can go on the web if you wish to prophecyclub.com, prophecyclub.com, or toll-free, 888-799-6111. And when you view this, and when you show it to your friends, you will know why I beg you to know about where to find answers to your health problems. International BioCare Hospital and Health Center. You'll also find it on my website, lindseywilliams.net, or you can call them personally if you wish at a toll-free number, 800-701-7345, or you can go on the internet, as Dr. Rodriguez has suggested, to biocarehospital.com, B-I-O-C-A-R-E, hospital.com. If you know where to go, you don't have to suffer. The elite know where to go, and this individual told me, and that's the reason I'm here, because they know how to find help. Many of these things you will not find help for in the United States of America, but you can get help, and sometimes you have to go outside of America in order to do it. And it's not done with antibiotics and chemotherapy and radiation and all those sort of things, but you can find help when you need it. So, Dr. Rodriguez, any other things, or Barry, things that you'd like to ask Dr. Rodriguez?
Well, I just think that, it's just exciting that, there actually is people out there that really care for people, and that you're not just thrown into the hospital and the next day. Because we just heard of a guy that just had back surgery, Lindsey and Dr. Rodriguez, and he had a 4-inch incision, and that very same day they threw him back out, and he's in pain. And anyways, all I know is that for what I'm hearing, you guys will take care of people where we don't see that care here in the United States.
Well, that's I think that's what the medical profession is or should be all about. Mm-hmm. If you don't care for people, you should not be a doctor. You should not be a nurse. You need skillful hands, I agree, but you need a heart. You need a compassionate heart, because we know that when we're sick, there is a period of time where we need all the understanding, the compassion, the help, the support that we can get. And actually that was said by Hippocrates. So this is as old as medicine itself. But right now I think one of the problems is we have convinced the doctors in the first place, we have convinced them that doctors are truly scientists. Mm-hmm. And there is a lot of science behind medicine. And when in reality there is not really that much, because there are many big breakthroughs, there are many big medical things that have to be taken out of the situation because they were wrong. One of them, for example, is we can recall like back in the 50s and 60s, we had like these massive mastectomies to breast cancer. And then we were using them because that was the cure or the treatment for cancer. And we bragged about it, and surgeons talked about it, and hospitals talked about it. Where are those surgeries today? Nowhere to be found, because the only thing they could prove is that they produce more damage than help. So the so-called scientific medicine is not there. And what we have to do is we have to be much more careful in how we handle people, be a lot more respectful of the laws that govern biology and the function of the body, and help people to restore and support. And once again, we have to bring healing from the only place that healing can come from, which is from within. And that's what we do at the hospital. We work helping people from within, because we know that bodies in their own wisdom know how to heal. We don't. Your own bodies know how to heal.
Well, Dr. Rodriguez, I would just want to say, thank you for so much being a blessing to the people out there, because I know that you can really help a lot of people that would have no clue or understanding what they should do.
Well, that's what we're here for. And again, anyone that has a medical or health question can feel free to use the email or call me, and we're certainly here to help and certainly here to orient people and guide wherever we can and help every time we can.
Well, with my wife being a nurse, I know that she'll probably send you a couple emails out there just for questions of general insight of things that the doctors here would probably not know.
I'm already looking forward to getting those emails, and I'll be happy to start a conversation with her.
Oh, Dr. Rodriguez, thank you for your time tonight. This was really an eye-opener.
Okay, well, that's what we do, and that's what I like to do.
Barry, people will dearly love the food here.
Oh, really?
The food is tailored for the treatment that the individual is given. You're going to find the finest food right here at the hospital, and outpatients, they eat in the dining hall. It is amazing. In fact, I was sitting at dinner today, just a few hours ago, with a lady who came here 2 years ago, was given the treatment for cancer. Mm-hmm. She was sitting there perfectly well. She has had no reoccurrence. She comes back about every 2 years for what is called a tune-up. And I think it is amazing. People don't have to suffer if you know where to go, Barry.
Well, that's awesome. Lindsey, thank you very much for yourself and Dr. Rodriguez for coming on and just sharing people a new way of getting out of this fistful of garbage that's coming down upon the American people.
Well, it's been our privilege, and Barry, we could not have done it without you. If you had not allowed us on your program, we couldn't tell the people. But I felt such a moral obligation, just as I do with all the other things that I tell. And thank you so much for allowing us to be guests on your program.
Well, thank you, Lindsey. Thank you for being a blessing to the people out there, and we'll definitely be talking to you real soon as opportunity allows.
Lord bless.
God bless. Bye. Also on End Time Talk Radio, before we leave, I want to mention that we're going to have Frank Smith from the Constitution Party here in Cheyenne, Wyoming. So definitely don't want to miss that. I got to meet him today. He's actually a blacksmith here in Cheyenne, Wyoming. And I actually signed a petition today for the UDC against Agenda 21 coming here in Cheyenne, Wyoming. It's already been done here, but they want to revamp it every year. So they're trying to repeal it. I'm also looking at getting Taylor Haynes. He had run for governor at one time. Well, actually, it was last time here about 2 years ago as governor for Wyoming. Didn't get in, but definitely a Christian man. And so also we're looking at Jim Williamson coming up here soon, and also other guests. But thank you for listening to End Time Talk Radio. We'll talk to you guys real soon, and we'll see you next Tuesday night with Frank Smith from the Constitution Party.